So hello everyone, I hope you're well, hope you're staying safe and with a calm and positive mind during these different times. I almost said difficult, but actually it's different, isn't it? We're always experiencing some sort of difficulties in life, and it's really important that we keep a calm mind and positive mind and always, be in search, I guess, or realize to solve problems rather than just dwell on them. So keeping a calm mind is a really important thing for our health, as well as for people around us as well. So we'll start with the chanting to absorb the mind with the teachings and our aspirations, and also then we'll do the meditation before the short talk. Namo dasa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddham saranam gacchami, dhammam saranam gacchami, sangham saranam gacchami. Dutayambi buddham saranam gacchami. Dutayambi dhammam saranam gacchami. Dutayambi sangham saranam gacchami. Tatayambi buddham saranam gacchami. Tatayambi dhammam saranam gacchami. Tatayambi sangham saranam gacchami. Namo buddhaya, namo dharmaya, namo sanghaya. Namo buddhaya, namo dharmaya, namo sanghaya. Namo buddhaya, namo dharmaya, namo sanghaya. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the 6 paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the 6 paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the 6 paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. May all sentient beings have happiness and its causes. May they be free from suffering and its causes. May they never be parted from their happiness beyond suffering. May they abide in equanimity, free of bias, attachment to the near, and aversion from the far. I shall cause this. Great compassionate Buddha, please inspire me to be able to do so. Reverently, I prostrate with my body, speech, and mind, and present clouds of every types of offerings, actual and mentally transformed. I confess all of my negative actions accumulated since beginningless time, and rejoice in all the virtues of all holy and ordinary beings. Please remain until cyclic existence ends, and turn the wheel of Dharma for all sentient beings. I dedicate the virtues of myself and others to the great enlightenment. However innumerable all sentient beings are, I vow to save them all. However inexhaustible my delusions are, I vow to extinguish them all. However immeasurable the Dharma teachings are, I vow to master them all. However endless the Buddha's way is, I vow to follow it completely. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Tayata gate gate para samgate bodhi soha. Tayata gate gate para samgate bodhi soha. Tayata gate gate para samgate bodhi soha. So now get yourself in the comfortable position for meditation. Nice and relaxed, not rigid, but also not lazy with your posture. Your shoulders nice and back, but once again, I remind you, not rigid. Your chin tucked in ever so slightly. Your tongue on the upper palate above your top teeth in your mouth. And gently close your eyes. Bring your attention to your body and release any tension that you may have in the body. This helps us to release tension in the mind too. So focus on releasing the tension from your toes, the balls of your feet, the arches, and the heels. Your upper feet, as well as your ankles and Achilles tendons. Now release from your lower leg, from your calf muscles and shin areas. From around your knees, your upper legs, the quads at the front and the hamstrings at the back. And your midsection, your glutes, your hip flexor muscles, and your groin. Now bring your attention to release the tension from the lower stomach and on and just above your hips and the lower back as well. Further up your stomach, your sides, and the center of your back. Your chest area, under your arms, and your upper back, the lateral muscles, and the rhomboid muscles that run between the shoulder blades and the spine. The upper trap muscles that run between the neck and the shoulders, as well as the shoulders. Your upper arms, biceps and triceps, elbows, forearms, wrists, hands, fingers, and thumbs. Now bring your focus to release the tension from your neck, the front, sides, and back of your neck, the back of your head, and the sides of your head, around your ears and temples, and your face, around your cheekbones, your cheeks. Make sure you're not clenching your jaw, your chin, your mouth, both inside and outside, your nose and sinuses and eye sockets and eyes. And make sure you're not frowning on your forehead. And now release the tension from the top of your head. Now briefly scan your body from the tips of your toes to the tips of your fingers and to the top of your head, just to see if you can release any more tension. Bring your focus now to initially the tip of your nose. The object of the meditation is the breath. Anapanasati, mindfulness of the breath. So keep your focus seamlessly, if possible, on the feeling of the breath as you breathe in and out. As you breathe in, the air is quite cool on the back of your throat, passes the chest area, and enters the lungs, and they expand as they fill with air. And as you breathe out, they compress, and the air passes your throat slightly warmer than before as it goes out your nose. Keep your lips gently touching and breathing in and out of your nose. Focus on the breath. If you have distractions, an agitated mind, with thoughts or emotions and the like. Don't cling to them. Don't grasp at them. Don't try to forcefully push them away either. Don't deny them. Just let them come and go naturally and replace your mind back onto your breath. If your mind becomes dull, wake it up a little bit by focusing more brightly on the breath. This way, refocusing on the breath becomes the antidote for both the agitated mind and the dull mind. And now we will practice in silence for a few minutes. So now you can feel very pleased with yourself for allowing yourself the opportunity to get to know your mind more, to calm your mind, to clear your mind. Extend loving kindness to yourself. Fill your whole being with this universal loving kindness. Mahametta. Be respectful of yourself and appreciate yourself. Be thankful. And now radiate this loving kindness outwards, overflowing from yourself to your loved ones and your friends. wishing that they are happy, at peace, and free from suffering. Now extend this love and kindness also to strangers, those people you may know a little bit or not at all. Now also to those you find difficult, may even regard as enemies. Wish that all of these people have happiness and the causes of happiness, are peaceful, and that they are free from suffering and the causes of suffering. Now gradually extend this loving kindness out further and further to include all living beings around your area where you live initially. All of the living beings that live on the land and under the land even, and live in the waters, fly through the air. Whether they are already born or being born at this moment or about to be born. May they all be happy and peaceful and free from suffering. Radiate and extend this love and kindness out further and further throughout your whole state or county. Throughout your whole country. May your country be peaceful. May all living beings living in your country be happy and free from suffering. Radiate further and further to include other countries, initially ones that you know directly, as well as those that you know indirectly, and those that you don't know at all. Until your loving kindness spreads throughout the whole world. May the whole world be peaceful, and the living beings within this world be happy and free from suffering. Radiate this love and kindness out further and further to include other planets and eventually the whole solar system. A solar system of love and kindness. And all other solar systems within this galaxy. And all of the galaxies within this universe. And radiate love and kindness throughout infinite space. May there be peace prevailing everywhere. May all living beings be happy and free from suffering. And now be present here and now, and we'll do the dedication prayer. Due to this merit, may I soon attain the enlightened state of the Buddha, so that I may be able to liberate all sentient beings from their sufferings. May the precious bodhicitta, not yet born, arise and grow. May that born have no decline but increase forevermore. And may the precious view of shunyata, not yet born, arise and grow. May that born have no decline but increase forevermore. So we will continue our discussion, the big picture, of course, being the Buddhist path, the Eightfold Path. We are discussing right concentration, but also more broadly into right understanding and right intention as well as covered here. We are talking about the 51 derivative mental factors. And specifically, at the moment, we're just finishing up on the 6 root afflictions. And we will talk today as well on the 20 secondary afflictions. So the 6 root delusions or afflictions are ignorance, that is, believing in something that is not real. In other words, believing in a substantial self of yourself and others and all phenomena as existing separately as a self, independently. Whereas in reality, we are all interdependent. We're called no self, or emptiness of self-nature. Then we have attachment. From this ignorance, it gives rise to dualistic thinking. So it gives rise to attachment and also aversion. Kind of two sides of the same coin. We get attached to things we find pleasing and attractive, and we have aversion from things we find repulsive or unattractive, and then live our lives according to this. Then also we have pride, which comes again from believing in this self and the self of other. Can very easily, very quickly result in arrogance, or even low self-esteem and jealousy and envies, and also unhealthy competition. We also have doubting in ourselves and our abilities, doubting even the teachings and the teacher, the Buddha as such. And also we have wrong views. Now, I spoke about the two extremes very briefly last week, but because of the time restraints, I didn't mention that we have the wrong views also covers not only that we don't believe in the law of karma even. That's an extreme view of nihilism. We also believe that that which is impermanent to be permanent, even though we know it may be impermanent, as after sort of short amount or a small amount of thinking about it, but still we live our lives as if it's permanent. Also, we see things as pure that are impure so often. We see things as happiness when in fact they are suffering, even if it's not obvious at this time. Even our happiness doesn't last. Also, we see things as independent when they're all interdependent. So that covers the 6 root delusions. Just finishing off from last week, I wasn't sure whether I'd be able to fit those ones in last week, so I stopped. We have to excuse my mother's dog who's barking for the very first time in a Dharma class. He's normally very good. So I'm sure that you guys who have pets understand sometimes. So today we'll start with the 20 secondary afflictions. Written myself some notes so I don't forget anything. This isn't in specific order, okay? So not the order in the scripture. It's actually, I've grouped them into where they arise or what they arise from directly. So the first lot includes the ones that rise directly from ignorance. And the first one of that is concealment. Remember, these are unwholesome states of mind or mental factors. We need to get to know them so that we're able to purify our mind from them, release them, So I think that's really important for us to remember that. We're not just filling our mind with information here. We're getting to know specific aspects and different details of our mind. Of course, in next week, I hope to move on to the wholesome states of mind. The wholesome states of mind are not only the opposites of these unwholesome states of mind, but also they can be expanded to be very vast and to help us to maintain a wholesome state of mind, at least most of the time to begin with. So concealment is when we conceal our unwholesome actions of our body, our speech, and our mind. We really like to push or show people around us our good qualities and try to hide our faults, when actually it's really important that we realize that we're actually concealing our faults from ourselves at that time. We need to know our faults so that we can recognize them, we can get to know them, and then we can start to decrease them, start to avoid them, and eventually purify our mind from them. There's no true remorse, a positive regret, like I like to say. Positive regret is when we realize that we may have acted upon with our body, our speech, or our mind acted upon unwholesome negative states of mind, and therefore our actions have been unwholesome. We need to know that. We need to feel some sort of positive regret and have a resolve not to continue to behave or think in this way. We conceal the truth from ourselves, and so often from others. So there's other aspects of this that I won't go into now, but these are the main ones. So that is concealment. The next one is laziness. That's our mind does not engage in something constructive or meaningful. For instance, we're lazy to look at our faults and to purify our mind. We're lazy to make the effort, the enthusiastic perseverance to maintain a wholesome state of mind. And so laziness, sometimes people, when they see this one, forget that we're really, really talking about state of mind or a mental factor. It's not just like lazy, oh, I'm going to watch TV today rather than go for a walk. That's the physical laziness, comes from a lazy mind. So then we have, the 4 great efforts, like I mentioned before, when we're talking about the right effort aspect of the Eightfold Path. It's the effort to, if wholesome thoughts have arisen in our mind, to maintain these wholesome thoughts. If they have not arisen yet, have them arise. If unwholesome thoughts have arisen in the mind, we eradicate them. And if unwholesome thoughts have not arisen, we protect our mind from having them arise. And so if we are lazy, we cannot practice these 4 efforts. Also laziness, you can say we take no delight in good actions, in our good deeds. So it's like we're not recalling our good deeds. It's really important for us to recall our good thoughts, our good actions, and our good words, good speech. Really important, so that we encourage ourselves silently to continue to do so and to increase our habit of doing so. It's the opposite of diligence, like I mentioned, and we kind of get attached to the pleasant feeling of wasting time. Now, I think I've mentioned before many times, we can have this thing we can call active laziness. It's like we get involved with all of our cultural habits. Get up in the morning, out comes the briefcase, a metaphor. And then you go off and you do your thing. You waste your time, maybe too much films, too much music, too much this, too much of that, and don't give yourself the opportunity to really practice the Dharma, practice meditation and the like. And also, I've heard from my Indian friends, some Tibetan masters that live in India, they say in India that the Indians like to sort of sit around in front of shops and drink tea and talk about politics. So sometimes we do need to have these types of conversations as well, but actually in the big picture, they're kind of meaningless for the long term, to the path to enlightenment. We need to give ourselves the time to practice the Dharma. Okay, so I'm not going to stay on too many details of this, because I really would like to try to get through as many of these today as possible. The next one, very closely related to laziness, is lethargy. It's like a heavy mind. Dull mind, heavy mind and body, very lethargic. It's sometimes I think if we are experiencing lethargy, then at that time we actually probably should get ourselves off our butts and do something. That will help us to wake our mind up a little bit, so our mind doesn't remain dull, doesn't remain fuzzy. The next one is faithlessness, or a lack of faith. Now, in Buddhism, I've mentioned before, there are 3 types of faith. We have the faith in the qualities of the teacher and the teachings, the Buddha and the Dharma. Then we have the faith of emulation, where we would like to emulate these good qualities of the teacher and the teachings. And then the 3rd type of faith is the faith of conviction, where we have thoroughly analyzed and investigated these teachings and the teacher even, and ourselves as well. And we have now no more doubt. When those 3 are together and perfected, this is called perfect faith in Buddhism. Really should avoid the blind faith, and especially avoid faith in things that are very harmful. are not real. And so we have no trust in oneself when it's like this. We have no confidence in ourselves with this lack of faith. So faith is very different, I guess, than some other traditions. When we have a lack of faith, a faithlessness, we don't really have any belief in truth, and no interest even in the truth. And so I think all of us can realize right now, even if we are maybe even feeling lazy or lethargic today, we still have an interest in the truth, don't we? So the less lazy we are, less lethargic we are, the more that we're going to make the effort to realize the truth. The next one, the fifth one that arises directly from ignorance is forgetfulness. We tend to lose the focus of the object. For instance, in meditation, if we're forgetful, we're always forgetting to focus on the breath, if it's breathing meditation, for instance. Or if you're contemplating an object, utilizing the vipassana method or the penetrative insight meditation method, then we lose focus of the object, and therefore we cannot clearly investigate and analyze this object to realize its impermanent nature, the unsatisfactory nature, and also the nature of emptiness, the emptiness of the object. We don't remember even the teachings or how to practice or to practice. We don't remember our virtuous acts and to continue with these virtuous acts. So we should try our very best to not be forgetful all the time. Of course, we're going to be forgetful sometimes. We're imperfect, but work your way to not forgetting. So often, I think we try to remember too many things at the same time. Even if it's, worldly household type things, like I've got to wash the dishes, I've got to do the clothes, I've got to make dinner, I've got to do, so then we forget. We tend to walk. How often do you walk into a room to go and get something, and you forget why you actually went there because the mind's too busy. We're thinking too much about everything from the past to the future and so forth. And so I like to, if ever I do that, I think it's really important to have a bit of healthy humor with it and remind yourself, there's that old habit. Don't take it too hard and don't be too hard on yourself. Just look at it and say, okay, next time I do better. Next time I'll drop the other things. Or even a technique you can use is to write yourself notes. That's fine. It's a technique that I've used for many years. So I don't have to think about these things that are really kind of mundane, aren't they? So next we have the mind is always clouded with disturbing emotions. When we're forgetful, we reinforce the habit of being distracted if we follow this and have this state of mind. And it's more than just forgetting things, okay, the forgetfulness. It's also having this mind that is constantly distracted, constantly agitated, or the opposite of agitated and dull, so... the next one, the sixth one, is heedlessness or non-conscientiousness. And once again, this comes directly from ignorance. This is kind of like a careless state of mind, an indifferent mind, not really caring. Really, if we do something wrong, we don't recognize it. We don't care. If we do something right, we don't rejoice in it. So it's, once again, I remind you, it's really important to rejoice in your good actions. This will increase the habit of it and also multiply the good karma you're creating, the good conditions or the merit that you're creating, and remind you to do it again in the future. With heedlessness or non-conscientiousness, there's no cultivation of virtue or wisdom. Virtue is another word we can use for merit. We're always kind of following and seeking mental distractions. We're always and kidding ourselves that this is actually meaningful or helpful. Like I said before, that similar to active laziness, always filling our life with things to do so that we don't really do the things that we really need to do. So it's the opposite of heedfulness or conscientiousness. Now we have only 1 minute and 7 seconds to go. So that's ones that directly relate to Forgetfulness, and I think we'll leave it at that just for today. The next ones I'm going to talk about arise directly from attachment, and then the next one from aversion, and then from a mixture. But we'll definitely finish the 20 secondary afflictions next week and move on to the 11 virtuous or wholesome states of mind. Please do your very best to keep your mind calm, stay positive. Whenever you can, be a good influence on others. And also practice meditation. Do it every day, even if it's short meditations. Put time aside for yourself and practice the Dharma well. Study. If you're studying certain aspects of the Dharma, do it with a clear mind, and then radiate the Dharma from your heart. Namo